Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and today doing a Chimera Fiendsmith deck profile. So I'm really excited to do something for you guys because this deck is an extremely powerful deck with just how well the Chimera and Fiendsmith cards work together. It's super fun to be able to play, so without further ado, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards. Again, your name, description, every single video, getting assigned cards in the mail, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month you're a patron. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're playing 3 copies of Mirror Sword Knight. Mirror Sword Knight is the most important Chimera card in the entire deck. This card is basically the lone fire of the deck that you can quick effect trigger this card to special summon a monster from your deck that mentions Chimera Fusion directly from your deck to your side of the field, which is an absolutely amazing effect to be able to use to summon out your copy of Big Wing Birthmat so you can search out Chimera Fusion and your copy of Gazelle. This card also has a really cool ability that while you control a copy of Chimera the Flying Mythical Beast, which your fusion monsters count as, quick effect, you can banish this card from the field or the graveyard to negate a monster that your opponent controls when it activates its effect, which is absolutely amazing. We then play 3 copies of Cornfield Codal. Codal is really good because this card searches out your copy of your Mirror Sword Knight from your deck to your hand when you send this card from your hand to the graveyard, which is a really cool effect to instantly just discard this card and then add your copy of Mirror Sword Knight directly from your deck to your hand. This card also has a crazy powerful effect that when your opponent activates a card effect that targets a card you control while you control a Chimera the Flying Mythical Beast, quick effect, you can banish this card from the field or the grave to negate that effect, and if you do, destroy that card, which is a great effect. Your copy of Mirror Sword Knight does not destroy when it negates, but your copy of Codal does destroy when it negates, which is really cool. We then play 3 copies of Gazelle, the King of Mythical Claws. This card is great as a 3-of because when this card is normal or special summon, you can add a level 5 Fiend monster or a copy of a Chimera Fusion from your deck to your hand, and if this card is sent to the graveyard as a material for a fusion summon, you get to add an illusion monster from your deck to your hand, which is instantly going to get you to your copy of your Cornfield Codal or your copy of your Mirror Sword Knight. We then play 2 copies of Big Winged Birthmat. Big Winged Birthmat is the main target you want to summon off your copy of your Mirror Sword Knight because when this card is normal or special summon, you get to add a copy of a level 4 beast monster and or a copy of Chimera Fusion from your deck to your hand, meaning you can actually add both from your deck to your hand, which is really cool to grab your copy of Gazelle and Chimera Fusion directly from your deck to your hand. And if this card is used as a fusion material and is sent to the graveyard, you get to target an illusion monster in the graveyard and special summon it when you do use this card as a fusion material, which is absolutely crazy, to bring back your copy of your Mirror Sword Knight back to your side of the field. We then play 3 copies of Nightmare Apprentice. Nightmare Apprentice is definitely a 3-of as well in the deck, and this card is really good because you can actually special summon this card from your hand by discarding any card from your hand, and also this card has the effect that if this card is normal or special summon, you get to add an illusion monster from your deck to your hand, which is great to instantly grab your copy of Cornfield Codal or Mirror Sword Knight so you can go in for your combos. We then play a single copy of Master Tao. Master Tao is really good because if this card is sent to the graveyard, you actually get to target an illusion monster in the graveyard, accept a copy of this card, and special summon in defense position, which is great to instantly get one of your monsters back on your side of the field. We then also play a single copy of Diabeel's Star. Diabeel's is just really good to be able to play in the deck as a 1-of because this card is basically anti-spell. This card is great in the deck because this card is just so good to send to the graveyard off your copy of your Birthmat Fusion and bring it back to your side of the field. It's really good to be able to play in the deck, just slow your opponent down. And again, it's basically like anti-spell fragrance, which is really cool because your opponent must set spells and trap cards before activating them. And if a spell or trap card becomes set on the field while this card's in the monster zone, you can actually target a card your opponent controls and one card that you control and destroy them, which is great to be able to pop whatever they set to their side of the field. We then play 2 copies of Edgem Chain. Edgem Chain is definitely a 2-of in the build as well, to be able to work with our Fur engine. And this card is really good to be able to work with Patchwork because if this card is sent from the hand or the field to the graveyard, you get to add a copy of a Fur card from your deck to your hand, meaning we can instantly grab our copy of Patchwork from our deck to our hand. We then play 3 copies of Fiendsmith. Fiendsmith is absolutely broken in this deck. It's a level 6, it's a Fiend, it's really good in this build, and it helps out so much for the consistency because you can discard this card add a Fiendsmith spell or trap from your deck to your hand, you can target a Fiendsmith equip card that you control and one monster on the field and send them to the graveyard. And if this card's in the graveyard, you can shuffle one other light fiend monster from your graveyard back in the deck or the extra deck to special summon this card. It helps you go in for your rank 6 plays, it helps you go in for fusion plays, it helps you overall with all sorts of different awesome plays, and it's just an amazing card overall. We play a single copy of Fabled Laurel. This card is really good as a 1-of in the deck. To be able to search off your copy of your Fiendsmith spell, discard this card to the graveyard, and then link it away for your copy of your awesome Requiem, the Link 1 Fiendsmith card, so that you can go in for your Fiendsmith combo. We then play some really spicy tech cards in the deck, starting off with our copy of Evil Hero, Sinister Necrom. This card is a level 5 Fiend. This card is really good in the deck because you can banish it from your graveyard to be able to special summon an Evil Hero monster from your hand or your deck to your side of the field, which is absolutely crazy because we can actually summon out our copy of Evil Hero, a Dusted Gold, which is actually a light Fiend monster. This card is really good in the deck and absolutely broken to be able to summon to your side of the field because you can instantly go in for your copy of your Fiendsmith Requiem. And really quick shout out to one of my buddies locals, Tyler, who actually showed me this combo. It's absolutely broken in this deck. It's amazing to be able to just instantly go in for your copy of Sinister Necrom, send to the graveyard off your copy of your Birth Mat or whatever play you need to get it into the graveyard with, and then you just banish it to be able to summon out a Dusted Gold, link into your copy of Requiem, and then once you do, you go into full Fiendsmith combo, which is absolutely amazing. Again, shout out to my buddy Tyler who actually showed me this. It's absolutely broken in the deck and what inspired me to actually build this version of the deck. We then play 3 copies of Ash Blossom. Ash Blossom is definitely a 3-of in the build just to stop the opponent from touching the deck. We play 2 copies of Ghost Mourner to stop our opponent's monster effects. And we also play 2 copies of Effect Veiler. Effect Veiler is also really good at stopping our opponent's monster effects. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to start with a single copy of Fiendsmith's Tract. This card is really good as a 1-of in the deck. We'll search out our Fabled card directly from our deck to our hand and then discard it to the grave so that we can special summon it back to our side of the field and then go in for Fiendsmith combo. This card also is a fusion spell by banishing it from the graveyard, which is absolutely broken. Speaking of fusion spells, we also play 2 copies of Polymerization. Polymerization is really good in the deck to help us go in for our fusion plays. We then play 2 copies of Ferrite for Patchwork. Patchwork's really good to be able to use in the deck, to be able to search out our copy of Edgem Chain, plus a copy of Polymerization directly from our deck to our hand, which is really good to instantly get a Polymerization, so we can go in for cards like Guardian Chimera, so it cannot be basically, it just protects it, which is really good. We then play 3 copies of Chimera Fusion. Chimera Fusion is amazing in this deck to help us go in for a bunch of awesome fusion plays. It is searchable off of a bunch of cards in the deck like our copy of Gazelle and Birth Mat, but this card is great because if you have a copy of Chimera the Flying Mythical Beast, you can actually add this card back in your graveyard to your hand, which is really good to instantly go in for more fusion plays and also set this card to your side of the field so you can go for Guardian Chimera during the opponent's turn, which is absolutely broken. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. So for the traps, we're just going to be playing 3, and that's going to be 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence. Infinite Impermanence is just really good at stopping your opponent's monster effects, and also locking down entire columns of spells and traps. This is really the only trap you need in the entire deck to lock down the opponent so they basically cannot play. Alongside copies of Ghost Mourner and Effect Veiler, you have a lot of ways to be able to stop your opponent's monster effects, but this card is absolutely amazing in the build. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to start with a single copy of Lacrimosa. Lacrimosa is really good as a 1-of in the deck because this card has a great ability that monsters that your opponent control lose 600 attack points, and if this card is fusion summoned, you can actually target 1 Light Fiend monster that's banished or in the graveyard and add it to your hand or special summon it. And if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can shuffle 1 other Light Fiend monster from your grave into the deck or the extra deck and inflict 1200 points of damage to your opponent, which is a great time card effect. effect. And when a single copy of Necroquip Princess, this card is just a really good combo piece in the deck to be able to summon out to your side of the field with your Fiendsmith combo. We then play a single copy of Chimera the Illusion Beast. This card is absolutely broken because it can attack multiple times. It's really good to be able to summon to your side of the field. It counts as Chimera the Flying Mythical Beast when it's on your side of the field, which is really, really good, or in the graveyard. It's just absolutely amazing. We then play 2 copies of Baphomet. Baphomet's really good because this card is a walking Foolish Burial. Then when this card is summoned out to your side of the field, you can actually send a Beast Fiend or an Illusion directly from your deck to the graveyard. And if this card's in the graveyard, you can banish this card from the graveyard and then bring back one of your banished Beast Fiends or Illusions back to your side of the field, which is a great ability to be able to use. Plus this card counts as Chimera the Flying Mythical Beast while on the field or in the graveyard. We then play just a single copy of Chimera the King of Phantom Beasts. This card is just a good 1-of in the deck. You only need a single copy in this particular build because we are playing so many different Fiendsmith cards. This card is really good because it counts as Chimera the Flying Mythical Beast while on the field or in the graveyard. And during the end phase, you actually get to send a random card from your opponent's hand to the graveyard when this card's fusion summoned, and also you can manage this card from the graveyard to bring back one of your Beast Fiends or Illusions from your graveyard to your side of the field, which is actually how we bring back our copy of our Dibel Star, which is really good to be able to bring that card back to our side of the field so we can just instantly go in for an anti-spell and lock down our opponent. We can play a single copy of Magnum. Magnum's just a good, awesome boss monster you can summon in the deck. We play a single copy of Guardian Chimera. Guardian Chimera is really good to go in during your opponent's turn into this card to basically just pop 2 and draw a card, or draw 2 and pop a card. It's amazing because we do play Polymerization in the deck, so this card cannot be basically targeted by card effects, which is just really, really good, and I love that about this card. We play a single copy of Chaos Angel. Chaos Angel is just a good option to be able to make in the deck because we don't really lock ourselves into anything in this particular build, and this card is just absolutely amazing to summon out to our side of the field. You don't have to use a tuner to make this card. You can use a light or a dark monster to make this card, and the only card that really locks us in is Big Wing Baphomet, and you can summon this card either on the follow-up turn or before you even go into that play, which is amazing. But this card is absolutely broken in this build, especially since we are playing light and dark in this deck. We then play a single copy of DDD Wave High King Caesar. Wave High King Caesar is a double negate and definitely an awesome boss monster to make alongside your Fiendsmith cards. We then play a single copy of Beatrice. Beatrice is really good because this card is walking Foolish Burial and helps us get the exact card we need into the graveyard. 1 copy of Appaloosa. Appaloosa is just really broken in this deck to be able to make because it gives you multiple monster negates. 1 copy of the Fiendsmith Link 2. And this card is really good to help you fusion summon because during your main phase, you can fusion summon a Fiend Fusion monster from your action deck by shuffling its materials from your graveyard back into the deck, which is absolutely amazing. To help us go for a bunch of really cool plays. You can even go into your copy of your Baphomet, which is really cool because it is a basically Fiend monster, so it's easy to go into. But usually we're going into our copy of Lacrimosa using this card. And we have a single copy of Moon of the Closed Heaven. This card is just an option to help us go in for our Fiendsmith combos, just in case we don't have a way to go into it, besides putting 2 monsters on the field going into this card and then going in for Requiem. And speaking of Requiem, we also play a single copy of Requiem. Requiem's really good in the deck as a 1-of to basically just help us go in for our Fiendsmith combo, and this card is absolutely broken. As this card has the ability to quick effect, you can tribute this card to dispose summon a Fiendsmith directly from your hand or your deck, which is absolutely amazing. You can also equip it to one of your light Fiend monsters that is a non-link monster, which is absolutely broken. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you enjoyed. This deck is super fun to be able to play. If you guys have never played a Chimera Fiendsmith deck before, you should definitely give this deck a try because it's really broken and I love playing Fiendsmith in the deck. It's just an awesome, different take on Chimera. Besides playing it with Branded, this is a really fun way to be able to play. So, that's going to do for this one, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of the notification squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.